Hello everyone and welcome. We're going to have a look at a couple of trades that we have running. So one of the ones that we have running here is the Nasdaq. Now, is the Nasdaq a high probability trade? No. And I don't like the size of this bar. This bar is too big for me to be taking a reversal. So the overall momentum is up and we're looking for a reversal to come down to here to hit or take profit. But there is a trade there, and some people would have taken this. You had the big buying bar, and then the next day was that reversal bar. So there's that high test inside reversal bar, and then the next day was a tiny red bar. So there was a little bit of selling power there. So there are some people who will take this. Is this a high probability trade? No. So just to go through why this trade was placed. So we had a high there, and then we have a double top. Okay, we have a horizontal level here, but we also have sort of what is called a zone. Okay, so we have a little area between there. So bounce once, twice, three times. Get that straight again. So there's once, twice, three, four times. And then this one here would have been a fifth time. So it came back into that sort of area right there. So we have sort of a zone. So, and the problem with zones is that we can never 100% guarantee where it's going to bounce from. So that's that zone in between there. It's hit the ceiling, went up. It's hit the floor, went up. It's come back, and we're in that area. And that's where that's come from. So we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 touches in that zone. Okay, so is that zone relevant? Absolutely. Is it concrete? It's a little bit harder to trade off of. So that's why that trade is there. Okay, is this a high probability trade? Probably not. Probably not. Is it something that I want to be in myself? No. Why? Because of the size of that price action bar. To get down here to a 1-to-1, it has to break that. It has to go almost down to a double bottom here. It has to break through that support and resistance. So it's probably not one that I would be looking to trade here. Now, yes, we had a bullish bar. Then we had an inside bar. And then we had a really small selling day. Now, none of those are jumping out at me saying that sellers are in complete control of this market. Now, I don't know whether anyone saw non-farm payroll, anyone had a look at the Fed meeting and what Jeremy Powell has come out and said and stuff like that there. Basically, he's told people more or less to start buying the stock market up. That's what he's told people. Now, whether that is just a bit of smoke and mirrors to try and get the economy going, the stock market going, so on and so forth. But that's what's after going on here. The tech companies all are getting cheaper loans, so it's easier to actually go out and get money to instead of slashing jobs, you can actually borrow some money, and it's all cheaper for the likes of those. So that's the good news to come out on the back of the monetary meeting and the likes of interest rates and non-farm payroll and everything that came out last week. So that was the good news, and that's why we had this sort of run on the likes of the tech stocks. Whereas if we look at the Dow, that run didn't happen. If we look at it here, it didn't happen. So that's why we have that. So do I expect this to come down and hit profit? Probably not. Probably not. I think there's probably more upside in this, and I probably expect a little bit of upside from here. If I'm being honest, I would probably expect some sort of an engulfing bar today, which means then that we had a little bit of upside, we had a little bit of downside, and I would probably expect more upside and downside on this, if I'm being honest. But again, that's just looking at the structure of the market. That's not going on support and resistance. I cannot trade that. Why? Because there's no support and resistance there. It doesn't meet any of my rules. It is to do with the structure of the market. S&P, again, similarly, we have a sell trade on this. Now, the good thing about the S&P has a little more downside than the Nasdaq. The bar is a little bit better. The level is better, 1, 2, 3 touches. Okay, so But again, we didn't get a really nice bar on that. We didn't get a really nice entry. We did have that high test bar, which is there, and then we're looking to sell off that. Again, will it hit that 1-to-1? With the structure here, there's it looks like a little more downside on the S&P than the Nasdaq, if that makes sense. Looks like there's a little more downside, but again, to me, there still looks like there's more. It's more bullish than bearish, if that makes sense. But keep an eye on this. It is something that I haven't taken. It's not a trade that I have taken. So anyone who has, look, just manage your trade according. Now, eventually this trade went up and it hit our 1.82. Barely, by the skin of our teeth, went up and hit it. That's why we have our take profits in really nice, concise places. So look at the previous high. It went up, double topped, and then came back down. Now, looking at the structure of this again here, this actually looks quite bullish. This looks, again, quite bullish. We've had 1, 2, 3 days come back. We are back to sort of this level, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could say that bounced off it because of the wick came the whole way down, but it rejected it. 5. So we do have a pretty decent horizontal level through that area. We do have a low test bar there, which means then that we could get a bullish movement up here. So if we're thinking the Nasdaq is bullish, we're thinking the S&P is bullish. The Dow is the one that's given us an actual setup. Long position, entry will be there, stop loss below that level. And if we're expecting to be bullish, we bring that up to a 3-to-1, and then we work out where we get in and out of this trade. So if I zoom out again, this is the first major one here, but that would probably be the stronger one there for me. There's loads of levels through this area. There is one there, yes, I absolutely can see that from that point right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there will be a little bit of resistance there. But looking at this, I would probably have that 3-to-1 there. But again, it comes down to, do you think there's more bullish momentum in this market than bearish momentum? You could look at that and say, well, look, there's a high, there's a lower high, there's a lower high again. You can say that they're all lower, absolutely. So then we have sort of a wedge shape going on. With this sort of wedge shape going on, and we'll eventually get a breakout. And if you look at patterns, if you look at the likes of these, the overall momentum is going up, so you would expect this to pop to the upside. So these are little things we want to take into consideration when we're trading. If this is something that you like, if you think this makes sense, click on the like and subscribe button and make sure you don't miss next week's one. So German DAX, we're in the German DAX already. No, well, we were in the German DAX. We got triggered out with a small bit of profit. So anyone who didn't trail their stop loss is at probably about a 1-to-1 at this now. 0.92. So we got triggered out with a 0.25 of a winner because we trailed our stop loss. But anyone who didn't is 1% up right now. Well done. And again, we do have a little break and retest here. If we look at this, it looks like we have a little bit of a break and retest at that particular point. Now again, is that strong enough for this to go? Only time will tell. But we do have bounce and retest. Now again, I'm looking at that small little bar there. See that one? That one we're not looking at because that one's only a few hours old. I'm looking at the one next to it. It came down, hit the floor, and we had a little bit of buying power at the bottom. So I'm not looking at a little small one. I'm looking at the one previous. Now you could drop down to the 4 hour and have a look at this, and then you have an actual low test bar here on the 4 hour, entry above it, stop loss below it if you want to trade that. Okay, just showing you how you would trade it. Just moving that over out of the way. Entry will be above that, stop loss below it, and then move it up to a 3-to-1. So there is a trade there. But again, you have to be confident that this is a bullish momentum. You have to be confident that you're expecting more buyers and sellers in German DAX over the next couple of days. French CAC, we've no trade on the French CAC. UK 100. So that's one we have a trade on. Now, I done a poll on the likes of eToro, and I done a poll on my Discord chat room on this particular one. So this is an all-time high. See this here? So this is a record high. So that's the all-time high right there. And I did a little poll. Once it hit the all-time high, should we par close the trade? Should we move our stop loss to break even? What was the general consensus? And the consensus was a resounding, you par close the position here and you move your stop loss inside break even. So again, that was something I did. It was something I had planned beforehand, and I got triggered out on this red bar. So I had a little small winner on this. So I had that par close, and I think I had 3 or 4 quid winner on the second part of it. But now what's happened today is we've had a little bit of bullish momentum, and we're almost back at that record high. So the idea would be is if I get a break and retest on this level, I will scale, I'll buy back into this position. So what's that saying? You never go broke taking profit. Okay, that's something that I do adhere to. And in times like this, when the markets are not massively trending, absolutely trail stop losses, par close positions, so on and so forth. Once the market starts moving correctly and in a clear trend, that's when we can start taking a little bit of a gamble and letting trades run. But at the present moment here, we are protecting what we have. So at the minute, I want to break and retest on that for that to continue. China. So China is now getting down into a level here as well. So we 1, 2, 3 touches, 4, 5 touches. So we're getting close to this area here again. Entry there. Stop loss below it. Take profit inside that high. I'm not going to go any more than a 2-to-1 on this one. Ideally, I'd like another selling bar down here, so it means that I'm actually able to get a 3-to-1 before that and come back and hit this floor. That's ideally what I want to happen. Get rid of, I suppose this trend line could be manipulated down a little bit. Absolutely. So that trend line also works there. And that's the problem with trend lines. They're so subjective. The same on horizontal. They're so subjective that you can nearly make it meet whatever you want. Aussie 200, there's no trade. It has to come back down to here. Japan 225 again has to come down to here for me for looking at that trade. And oil. So well done anyone who took this. Well done. Eventually came down and hit it 3-to-1. So well done. Good trading on the likes of this. And why we were happy to leave this is because we're actually getting big selling days and the overall momentum is down. Our take profit was inside this low and look, directly straight away hit the double bottom and then turned around. So in this particular scenario, I would be wanting this to happen. I'll use this one. And if it hit that ceiling there, I might actually be looking to take that short and I'd be looking for it to smash through this level. So if we get a sort of a high test bar at that particular point, there might be a really nice trade short on this, depending on the price action that happens at that point. NatGas. We talked about NatGas there long on the smaller time frame. Let me have a quick look. So you can see the little bar down there. 4 hour. Let's see what happened. So look, triggered in, went up, and now you're slightly above break even, which is not the kind of bounce we would have wanted there. Probably at this particular point, because we've had such movement sideways, I'd probably be moving my stop loss 1 or 2 quid in profit to cover any of the overnight fees, or I'll be closing that trade, one or the other. At this particular point, it hasn't moved as we wanted it. We wanted it to turn. It's now getting close to the trend line here, and you probably expect the sellers to jump in once it gets back there. So at this present moment, I probably move my stop loss inside, slightly inside break even, or close the trade. So they're the sort of 2 things that I'd be looking to do at this particular moment. Let's have a quick look at silver and gold. So silver, like I said last week, we should be out of that trade a long time ago. So see this trade here that we had, we should be out of this one a long time ago. It didn't go to the 3 to 1. It went up to a 1.55 to 1, and then look, dollar got stronger, so it completely changed that. So this is not trending anymore. I'm not looking at this at the minute. Let silver sort itself out before we're looking to trade it. And gold is very similar. Gold is very similar. Again, with this trade, it went up, hit a 1.6 to 1, and then come back down. And as you guys know, take profit was inside that horizontal level. So well done, anyone that took that. Popped up there quite nicely. But again, at this present moment, it sort of has to come down to here for me to be interested in this. It's broken through this floor. Yes, we do have an inside bar, and that is the first sign of this to potential change direction. But for me, it's not at a level. I'm literally just looking at price action, and looking at price action, that's what I would expect to happen. I'd expect that to go up. I just put out a 3 to 1 there just to keep it in tow, but that's what I would look at the price action. There's no sort of what would I call it, support and resistance. Looks like there's a bit of a trend line there, but again, I'm not, the likes of that trend line wouldn't be something that I'd be like, yes, this is something I have to take. If you like what you saw, make sure and click subscribe or like on this video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to either put them on the video or actually give me a shout or reach out on the Discord channel. Thanks very much, everyone. Hope you've had a lovely day, and I will speak to you all tomorrow live on the webinar. Bye-bye.